This is Abe Friedtanzer from the Film Experience talking to Colby Minifie about the new film Homebody, which is playing at NewFest.
Yes.
So I know that it's based on the short film I Was in Your Blood. Can you talk about the process of expanding that into a feature-length film?
Yeah, I met Joe years and years ago doing a movie called Radium Girls, and we just really hit it off. And then there was one day where I think he just called me and was like, "I'm doing a short. You want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." It was like in my neighborhood. I like biked on over, and we spent, I think it was like 3 days making this short, and it was just really, I just really love working with Joe. He's a really special director. He's very thoughtful and calm and yet like excited and happy to be surprised. And we made this little thing, and I really loved it as a really beautiful little short about a kid and his babysitter. And then I think it was like a year or 2 years later. I don't know what time is anymore, but he said, "I'd like to meet with you about something." And then he dropped this thing on me where it's like, "I wrote a feature of this movie and I want you to star in it." And I'm like, "Ooh." So for me, like I wasn't involved in the expanding process or the writing of the expansion. I was just the happy recipient. And yeah, I was happy.
Do you remember seeing other body swap movies like Big or Freaky Friday when you were younger? And did you ever imagine getting the chance to star in one yourself?
Those are some of my favorite movies. I love Big. So I just always marveled at Tom Hanks being able to do that. And I was just like, you never really know what you're gonna come across in this industry. You just kind of see what comes your way, and you're like, "Oh, actually, I have always wanted to do that." But yeah, no, it was just a pleasant surprise, and I was a willing participant.
What do you think you would have been most curious about as a 9-year-old if you had the chance to be in an adult's body?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I really think this movie captures what that curiosity is well. Like there's that scene where I'm peeing, like sitting down on a toilet, which I think would be unique for a boy at that age, and then going to wipe using like all the toilet paper, and also wanting to like protect Melanie's body. There's a level of not wanting to invade her space too much, but then to like find a tampon and to pull out the tampon and be like, "Oh my God, what is this feeling?" Like, I do think like when I was a kid, I was so curious about like puberty and what happens and how your body grows and how your body changes. And yeah, I often think about how Johnny, like how Johnny in the movie, like what that must have been like for him to experience that on the toilet. But yeah, I guess I also was really curious as a kid. Like I was deeply self-conscious, and I was curious as a kid of like how to be comfortable, and how to be comfortable in my body. And like I was always searching for that. And I think I would have liked to have like known what that would be like, but that's not this movie. Like Johnny is like uncomfortable and like discovering it all. And it's like a squashed amount of time. Like usually as a woman, you like grow up and you're like, okay, now I'm finally comfortable in this part of my body, and now I'm finally comfortable in that part. But this is like it's like a rush, a crash course. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
And what was your working relationship like with Trey, the actor who plays Johnny?
He's a wonderful kid. He's he's got so much energy, and yet he's so good at being still on camera. And he's just emotionally present. And like, I really loved getting to just get to know him as a kid, and start to play video games, which I never play and I'm terrible at, with him in order to bond on some level. And that I remember like seeing him and meeting him and remembering all of that excitement and obsession with something, for him, it was this one, it was, the what's that thing? The switch thing. Like he was like, oh, look, do that. I was so into like certain specific things and not really knowing why, you know. But he's a wonderful dude and so sweet. So it was great to work with him.
That's great. And how did you record your dialogue when the two of you were talking in Melanie's head? Were you looking at each other, talking together?
No, we did that separately actually, which was difficult. But also I think Joe as a director is really specific about what he wants, which is great. And I think like recording them separately allowed us to really fine tune what we were looking for. And I would also listen to what Trey had recorded previously. And so that was helpful. But on the day, I had a friend come and give me, we got these things called earwigs that you would put in your ear. And she would be in the other room with this like 90s microphone. And she would have to press the microphone and say like the whole conversation in my ear so that I could respond appropriately to what was going on. Because no matter how many times you read it, and even if you learn those lines, you want to be reacting to what is going on presently, and so I had her do that, and it was really helpful.
Great. And how do you feel about this film's handling of gender exploration?
I really actually I really respect its approach on the gender exploration. Like we're all grappling with our gender and how we present our gender. And we're all trying to figure out where we belong in the world and how we feel comfortable in the world. And it was funny because when the movie premiered at Outfest in LA, I was like, what do I wear? Should I wear this dress? Should I wear this thing? And I landed on like a worker's jumpsuit, which is like kind of a hyper masculine thing, but it's what made me feel comfortable. And I wonder, well, why do I feel more comfortable wearing something like that? But it's how we present ourselves, how we feel comfortable presenting ourselves. And I think that this movie does a really good job at just allowing a boy to explore, and also I think Maria Dizia's character, the mother, also is a great mother in that way, where when at the end of the movie, when she walks in on him and he's wearing his lipstick and she says, "That looks good on you." And he says, "I know." It's a really kind of beautiful acceptance of our exploration. And I think we should all be allowed to explore in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And what is it like to have this film play at NewFest? Were you familiar with the festival before, and will you be traveling in for the in-person screening this week?
I was not. I cannot do the in-person screening this week, which devastates me because, I'm born and raised in New York. Like, to me, having a movie that I am in a lot of premiering in New York, in Brooklyn, at my local movie theater, because I live very close to that movie theater, it devastates me because I really want, all my friends and family to sit and watch it and laugh at my my own bodily exploration in the form of a little boy. But I can't. I'm working out in LA right now. But I am into, I just love that there are these film festivals that support and celebrate movies like this, that are simple and joyful and fun, and yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of your work on something very, very different, which is The Boys.
Oh, very different. Very different. Thank you.
Of course. Can you tease anything about season 3 and your role on that show going forward?
Yeah, Ashley gets a bit of kind of she gets into a bit of a higher gear this year. She, her role at like taking over Elizabeth Shue's part in season 2 and season 1 and 2, it gets kind of expanded a bit, and we get to see a little bit more of Ashley's sexuality this year, which is pretty exciting for me because I never get to play anything like that. And we also had a really incredible costume designer this year, Michael Ground, who really upped the ante on Ashley's outfits, which were already crazy, but she goes hog wild and nuts. And also, I will say, episode 6, Herogasm, is one of the wildest things you might ever see on TV. Wow. It's pretty insane. Yeah, just get ready for that shit, man.
Okay. And do you have any other projects you're working on that you'd like to preview?
I can't talk about the one I'm working on right now, but let's think. Do I have anything else? No. I mean, other than the thing now, but I'm trying to think. I have a short called Lemons that I did with a couple of buddies of mine, which is being submitted to festivals and stuff. And yeah, I'm just hungry, man. I just want to keep working, in between all these crazy comic book shows. Like, I'm down for any kind of character study thing. So it's exciting. Yeah.
Great. Well, everyone should make sure to see Homebody, which is streaming virtually at NewFest through October 26th. You can find out more at newfest.org. Thank you so much for speaking with me today, Colby, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much, Abe. I really appreciate talking to you and you interviewing us for this movie. It's great.
Of course. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye.